Hello, everyone. So I have a bunch of bills here that I'm looking through, and I'm just still at this age and stage of my life, confused, also frustrated with medical bills. And we don't even get a lot of medical bills. But back in April, my son, my 18-year-old, felt a little pain on his side, and it was kind of he was feeling that way for a couple of days. So I finally decided to take him to the doctor. And typically in the United States, at least, when you go to the doctor, sometimes they don't have the ability to tell you what's wrong. If they need to do any sort of scans, then they need to refer you over to ER, the ER emergency room. So um, we went to the doctor, and he described all of his symptoms and how he was feeling, and the doctor looked at him and said, well, if it's on that side, it could be the appendix, and if that's the case, and if it were to rupture, then it would be pretty serious. So she recommended that we head straight to the ER. And so that's what we did, and we were there for probably about 4 to 5 hours. And my son had this event to attend, and we had to. I think we actually postponed the event because we were at the ER for such a long period of time. And they ran some tests. They did a CAT scan, and at the very end, the doctor said, "Okay, well, it doesn't look like it is appendicitis, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not appendicitis." So it was inconclusive. We spent all that time, and while we were there, they charged me about $700. So I said, okay, $700. And typically, once you pay whatever sort of copay that you're paying when you're there at the time of service, you end up with a bunch of bills in the mail. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I've been kind of dealing with it for a couple of months. I did have one bill that was quite large, so I asked for an itemized bill. And it's not easy to get an itemized bill. You call them, you request the itemized bill. I wasn't even sure if they would talk to me because the patient is my 18-year-old, even though I'm still handling everything and paying for everything. He's legally an adult. So when I called, she said, well, if you'd like to send us what we'll do is we'll send you a form. Once you fill out that form, then we will send you the itemized bill. So I get the itemized bill, and honestly, I don't really even know what everything means. It's kind of in a different language that isn't necessarily easy for people to understand. But anyway, I have this one bill that I believe is for the actual doctor at the hospital, and her charge was $1,286. And it says there was a carrier payment of $411.26, which resulted in my portion. Well, I'm not sure about the math, but my portion was $102.82. So remember, I already paid the $700 at the emergency room. This is another $102.82. And then there is a radiology one. So I'm guessing this is for the actual CAT scan. The cost of that was $427. Total insurance payment, $204.96. Total insurance adjustment for $170.80. So my portion was $51.24. So that one wasn't too bad, but still additional amount that I wasn't exactly expecting. And then here's the biggest bill. I see here it is $23,835. I guess this is for the actual ER visit. Insurance covered $22,492.42. And then I paid the 700 and something dollars while I was at the ER, $712.32. And then I have an additional about $700. So all in all, my out of pocket was nearly $2,000 for a visit that didn't give me any more information than I went in with. So that's kind of how things go. And $2,000 is pretty devastating for most people. And I can just imagine if if you're really in a position where you cannot afford to go to the doctor, I mean, it's really sad. That's how it's like here.